welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading, and what that is you, the viewer, get to choose from one of 3 tarot or oracle decks, and we'll go through and do a quick spread to see what the general energies will be like for the next 7 days. It does not need to be the week of July 24th through July 31st 2021. In order for the messages to resonate. If you come across this reading at any time, there may be nuggets of information contained. Now, we have a saying in card reading. We always say, take what resonates and leave the rest. So if you feel like the message is not resonating, then you do not need to take it. You can always check out another pile or possibly another post or video, maybe even another reader. And there may be other messages contained. And again, just check out the video to see if you're drawn to the video. There's usually probably a few nuggets of information contained. Now, if you ever want to skip straight to your reading, the timestamps are listed in the description box below, as are the names of the authors of the decks and all of the materials that I use. So sometimes we have some brief introductions, and then after that I get into the reading. If you ever want to skip the blabbing part, please click on the timestamp, and that's your fast pass. It'll take you right to your reading. All right, so we have some very quick announcements. It's not, this week is going to be very quick. Last week was a little bit longer. My ear has been bothering me, so I'm sorry. Again, you've heard me complain about ailments, and I'm very blessed. It's not holding me. It's not debilitating, but it is a little distracting, and so today I think I'm just gonna get straight to the reading and get it done. But I always enjoy these readings so much. I always look forward to it, and I always just get so much out of the read along with you. Now, one thing I wanted to touch on before we get started is I've had kind of a song stuck in my head this week, and it's a real kind of vintage, quote unquote vintage song. It's from the 80s. I've been hearing Elton John's It's No Sacrifice, which is a very popular light rock song from the 80s, and it has a really haunting melody, and I'll go ahead and post the link for it. But it's a little bit, it's bittersweet because it talks about the breakdown of a relationship, and it it's it's no sacrifice, 2 hearts living in 2 separate worlds. I'm not sure where that's coming from. I've never really, I channel from the 80s, but not like that. And I've really been hearing the lyrics, those song lyrics have really been following me around for a couple days. So I don't know if that's a collective thing, maybe it's just a me thing, but I felt drawn to mention that on the channel and post the link of it. So if you feel like that's resonating for you at all, I do feel like it's been kind of a transition time for a lot of people. This week is the last week of July, and I always say this, it's like the 1st of June, you think, oh, the summer, it's here, it's infinite, and then you blink and it's back to school, right? I'm in North America, so if you're in the United States, the summer goes by in a blink. It goes by in a blink, and I've actually got some summerish plans coming up where I'm like, okay, I need to get to the pool, I need to get to the movies, safely, very, very, wearing a mask, doing your due diligence. But I feel like the season is kind of just flying by. Now, the other thing I just wanted to talk about real quick is that we do, it's funny, I always wear rings, I wear jewelry. We talked a little bit about the stones that you wear, like last week, protective stones. I do, I have a group of stones that I use for my decks. But in every reading, with card reading, you only see our hands a lot, and it's funny. I pride myself on rings. I love my rings, and I have an opal ring. I probably should have worn my opal ring. But one ring that I've been wearing a lot lately, and I keep forgetting that I have it on because it's so comfortable. But believe it or not, I have one of the gifts that my mother gave me for my birthday last year is my great grandmother's wedding band. And it just means so much to me because she was a wonderful lady. She was a teacher. She was an excellent cook. She used to sew as well. Like she'd make those original like Barbie clothes from like the 50s and 60s. She would do these little stitches. She would make little Barbie clothes for my mom and her dolls. And she'd also do what they call tatting, which is the little lace edging that you do on handkerchiefs. She was just so immensely talented, and she cooked like a dream. Like my great grandparents lived in a very rural town. Like literally, they were the only house on their street, and you think about today about how modern kitchens have marble countertops and how that's a sign of like being able to throw flour and sugar and salt and kind of throw down on a marble countertop. My great grandparents had a marble kitchen, like a marble kitchen top in the early like 20s and 30s at literally like hashtag before it was cool, before it was a staple of cooking. And she knew how to cook like like cast iron skillet, cornbread, fried chicken. She made everything from scratch. It was like a dash of this, a pinch of that. And so when I wear her ring, it's like I usually wear it when I'm doing creative things, like when I'm paper crafting and doing the things I love. And she was a very devout religious person. So I try to honor her spirit. I try to honor her energy when I'm wearing her jewelry. But it's amazing how comfortable it is, and I'll put it on in the morning and wear it all day, and it's my right hand, so I'll forget that I have it on. But if you see it, the other thing about the ring is that she purchased it. Again, she lived more rurally, and she actually it's a gold ring, but she purchased it from the Wells Fargo catalog because that's what you did. You could mail order anything. If you've ever seen the musical The Music Man, you know how they talk about the Wells Fargo wagon coming down the street. That's how it was. It was actually in 1896. Crazy enough, it was a different century. She ordered this ring, and I'm just honored that we kept it in the family, and I get such great energy from it. So I hope that I'm doing a service by her memory and her energy by doing the things that I love while wearing her jewelry. But all right, but enough blabbing, guys. Again, if you ever want to skip the intro, just click on the timestamp. We have, as usual, we have 3 decks here. I like to keep the decks in rotation. The first deck is the Transparent Tarot, and these are really cool cards. This was actually a gift from my sister. They're transparent cards. It's the Transparent Tarot, and what it is as you look at the cards, they layer over on top of each other. And I thought this was cool. We've got the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Cups, and that's such a cool combination there. And by Emily Carding, I think her first name's Emily. And on top of it, we have a beautiful 3-point quartz crystal. This was actually a free gift with my my Boulder quartz that I wear around my neck. It's such a gorgeous stone. The second deck is the Everyday Tarot by Brigit Esselmont. She also goes by Biddy Tarot. Very famous tarot reader here in very publicly known. And on top of it, we have a beautiful citrine, and I just love the way that the yellow and the white goes with the theme of that deck. The last deck is the Vice Versa Tarot, and we really haven't seen this in a hot minute. This is by Lo Scarabo, and on top of it, we have a beautiful Dalmatian jasper, and this stone was actually tumbled by a very good friend of mine. Thanks, E. And it's one of my favorite stones. It's so beautiful. Now, again, I always do what my intuition tells me to do, so sometimes I get a weird, inkling to pull out a deck. As a clarifier, I decided to go with the Mixed Emotions deck. It's really more of a psychology deck that talks about different emotions. And it's funny, I pulled Resentful. I actually just pulled a card today that talked about letting go of resentment. That's kind of interesting. But Mixed Emotions by Petra Martin. That's a very great deck. It is an oracle deck, but it's not technically meant to be used for divination. You could really use it just for self-help or emotional kind of clarification, emotional self-healing. And on top of it, we have a beautiful obsidian which is also known as dragon glass. So if you're a GOT lover, that's dragon glass is the official name for obsidian. But all right, guys, so I'll go ahead and give you a minute to decide. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So I'm going to go ahead and move up the other decks. Sorry, guys, I don't mean to blab too much. I just always think it's nice to kind of talk a little bit. It's nice to talk. So I hope I'm not talking your ear off. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and see the first deck, the Transparent Tarot, deck number 1. What's your energy for the week? Oh my God. All right. That is way too many cards. All right, please, just 1 or 2 cards, please. Okay, there we go. We got 2. Okay, we got the Hermit and the King of Wands. Okay, and okay, cool. Middle of the week. High Priestess. End of the week. Oh, this is coming right along. 10. Wheel of Fortune. And, ooh. Can I get 1 clarifier? You've got quite a few majors here. Thank you. 5 of Cups. Okay. Cups. Okay. It's interesting that you know, before we even got started, the King of Cups was kind of on top of the deck, and he kind of came back out in rotation. So I'm going to go ahead and put this cloth down just because they are transparent, just to help a little bit. This is actually the cloth that I use to wrap the cards. I don't have a formal bag. So all right. So beginning of the week, guys, you've got the Hermit and you've got the King of Wands. And I really love the way that, if you can see this, the way that there's a lot of orange colors in this. Let me see if I can, sorry. It's going to be a lot of rearranging here, guys. But you see how there's a lot of orange colors both in the peak of the mountain, and you see how it almost looks like a walking stick when it's the King of Wands. In the beginning of the week, I keep hearing like, not afraid to do the work. Like, the thing about the King of Wands is he's a king, right? He's the mature masculine of his suit, and you can definitely be a woman in this energy. And the beautiful thing about the King of Wands is that when he sets his sight to do something, he goes and does it, right? I always kind of joke it's a little bit of the arthritis king, you know, like I know it sounds crazy, but like for instance, if you've ever seen the movie Top Gun, right, with Tom Cruise, and you know how they're doing a new movie that's called Maverick, right? The King of Wands is kind of like the Maverick. Like, okay, this man is in his 50s, in his 60s, but he's still a daredevil, right? He's had plenty of experiences. I always kind of think of it a little bit of the old Wile E. Coyote, like, okay, I've jumped off that cliff, I've hit rock bottom, but wow, what an experience that was, right? And that's what the Hermit talks about too, is the Hermit goes up to the mountaintop and he reflects. He thinks back on all of his experiences, right? He thinks about what he's done, and he thinks about what he wants to do next. And that's what I'm kind of getting here, guys, is that, and with it being the 9 and the King, I swear to you, this looks like a walking stick, doesn't this? This is such a powerful image. I do get the sense, like, I'm getting a strong sense that you're reflecting back on your life a lot. Like, you're thinking about how far you've come. You're really reflecting on everything, right? You're reflecting on your victories, your successes. You're reflecting on your failures. And it's almost like, I really get the sense, like, over the weekend and the beginning of the week, you are in a rare reflective stage right now where you're really thinking about how you want to progress forward. I think you're a passionate person. I think you're one of those persons, like, if you decide to do something, nothing's stopping you. You know, you will go do it. You'll knock it out. You'll kick ass and take names. But it's almost like, I almost get the sense with the King of Wands, I really do think that's the kind of person who chooses his journeys. Like he's seen enough in his life where it's like, okay, is this what I really want to go do? It's almost like you're looking back at all that you've accomplished. You're looking at back at all of your failures. You're looking back at all the things that didn't go right, that did go right, what you've learned. It's almost like the ache in your joints, like, okay, how did I get that? How did I get that scar, right? And you're deciding what you want to do next. Um, the other thing I kind of get is that with this many majors in 1 week, I kind of get the sense like, with it being the King of Wands, it's quite possible if you're a woman, it might be that you're kind of reflecting back to, um, you're reflecting back on a relationship that was with a real fiery kind of man, and it's almost like you're thinking back on what you've learned from that experience, right? You've got some powerful cards here this week, guys. You really do. The other thing is I get like this is some sage wisdom that you're leaning on. Because the wands are very spiritual too. Cups are spiritual in an emotional way, but wands are spiritual in like like a soul mission, kind of like a passion in itself. What you're passionate about has this magic to it, right? When you decide, okay, I'm gonna go get this degree, or I'm gonna go get this house, or I'm gonna succeed in this job, or I'm gonna get the girl, I'm gonna get the guy. That's kind of that little je ne sais quoi, that little, that little, hot, hot daddy kind of attitude, right? And but I do get the sense that the king is your energy, and whether you're male or female, you can be a woman feeling like, because the king is the king, right? It's good to be the king. The king decides. He's the apex of his suit. He says, okay, if this new endeavor is exciting enough for me, it's exciting enough for me to want to get off my throne after I'm kind of getting like, after all the experiences I've had in my life, and I get the sense like you've had some good experiences, like you've experienced life, you've had a good life thus far, and it's almost like you deciding, okay, what I've done in the past and what I've learned from those experiences, where am I going next? What would be exciting enough, or what would be intriguing enough, or what's my next chapter, is what I'm kind of hearing. What's my next chapter? And it better damn well be exciting, is what I'm kind of feeling. And middle of the week, you got the High Priestess, and look, it almost looks like a book. It is a book. It's the Torah, right? And with it, you have a moon. Now, one other thing here. I always film the video a few days prior to Saturday. But tomorrow is a new moon. Tomorrow's a new moon at the early degrees of Leo. It's the Leo Aquarian axis. So if you have any main points in those places, like if you have a mid-coli, which is the crown of your 10th house, or an ascendant, if wherever your main points are, if they're in Leo or in Aquarius, like I'll even use myself as an example, my mid-coli, the crown of my 10th house is 5 degrees Leo, and the new moon is like 2 degrees Leo. That's a conjunction, and that's putting a beam of energy, like a beam of energy through my career sector and my public image sector. Like, how do you want to be portrayed to people, right? But here I get towards the middle of the week. You're feeling real spiritual. Again, maybe you're watching more tarot readings. Maybe you're just pulling within. Maybe you're throwing cards for yourself. Maybe you're meditating, doing Tai Chi. It doesn't even have to be anything real woo-woo. Like maybe if you're Christian, maybe you're studying Bible passages. If maybe you're getting out in nature and just sitting under a tree and feeling connected, kind of grounding yourself. But I feel like towards the middle of the week, you are getting in touch with your spiritual side. And again, I kind of feel like you're kind of going to the mountaintop. And then when you get by the middle of the week, I don't think that you're going to feel really connected to the 3D, meaning the real world. Like, I don't think you're going to be worrying about if the electric bill is paid or, I have to go to the grocery store. None of this is very 12th house kind of energy here. I get the sense like, I really get the feeling like you're trying to, and I know this sounds so woo woo for like a weekly read, but you've got three majors here, guys. Something about your energy this week, you are reflecting on where you've been and you're trying to decide where you're going, and that's making you do a really deep dive. It's making you do a really deep dive. And it could be sparked off by the moon. It could be because the other thing is tomorrow, Friday, like that beginning, this energy, this area right here is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're getting into the middle of the week. By the middle of the week, the moon's going to look like that. It's no longer going to be new. It's going to be like a few inches in. I think something about this new moon, and new moons talk about like intention. It's a new cycle. It's a new 2-week cycle, right? New moons, you set your intention. It's like a fresh slate. It's like a clean slate. You can decide what you're going to do for the next 30 days. And then the first 2 weeks is actually building up something. And then the full moon, which is after the middle of the month, is the apex. And then after that, it's like kind of a winding down. You're kind of de-cementing. You're winding back down, and then you're ready to start a new cycle with the next new moon the next month. But I'm getting a strong spiritual kind of leaning here. I think you're delving deep. And again, it doesn't have to be anything real woo-woo. Maybe you're not staunchly religious or study and astrology or anything like that. This could be as simple as you going online and Googling, what's my life purpose? But all I know is that this energy, what you're focusing on, is very like, what is my life purpose? What's my spirit telling me to do? What's my my reason for being here? And I know that sounds really deep, but that's where you guys are at in the middle of the week, guys. And I get the sense like you're reading, because again, the high priestess reads the Torah, and usually it's a closed book in her lap, but here it's an open book under what looks like the growing moon. You see that? So I do think that you're studying something. I think you're trying to find your next adventure. You're trying to find your next purpose. I do feel, I am getting a sense like something about this new moon is hitting, I think the early degrees of Aquarius and the early degrees of Leo are hitting some kind of points in your astrological chart. I'm feeling that, guys, because that kind of brings about all of this really like, what's my purpose kind of feeling. And I'm not making light of it. Believe me, I've had that. I've been there, done that. Like, okay, all the things that I do in a day, what does that mean? What purpose does that serve, right? Actually, I in the intro I talked about my grandmother's wedding band. My great grandfather, my great grandmother's husband, he was the sweetest man, also very devoutly religious. He wrote down on a cocktail napkin to my mother, and my mother later wrote down the same saying I actually have it framed on my wall. Have it framed on my wall. Be of service. Be of service. Like, he also loved to say, he who hath friends must shew himself friendly. Meaning that, in order for you to have friends, you must be friendly. And it doesn't mean that, if you're in a bad mood or something like that you have to put on a fake front or anything like that. It just means that if you open up to people, people will open up to you, right? But that's what I'm almost kind of getting here, guys. In the middle of the week, I think you're kind of digging deep. You might be reading articles about like, okay, how do I find my life's purpose? What's my reason, for living? And I don't want to get too morbid with this. I think that you're in a very I think you are in a place where you're thinking in a deeper way. And it's possible some of this lunar energy might be conjuncting your Mercury, because that usually, the other thing I kind of get is this kind of deep dive usually talks about Saturn contacts. Anytime, I'll tell you, we just came through like we came through a cycle where both Mercury and Venus was in the late degrees of Leo, and that conjuncts my Saturn. And oh my God, guys, I was in such a, I'll tell you, I know a few people who natally, like in their birth chart, have Mercury conjunct Saturn, and I'll tell you, for like 3 days straight, I was being such a serious person. Like, I was like, everything was life or death, and like, I was just really, it was heavy thought, really, really like an anchor. And what I'm kind of seeing here is like, it's almost like you're taking the questions that you're asking very seriously, very seriously. And but these kind of deep dives are excellent to do, but the only advice that I have is that you do have to come up for air. When the other thing that I kind of get is there's a little bit of isolation with this, and actually when this is a perfect segue into the end of the week. You got the Wheel of Fortune. You know what? Actually, let me double check. I'm almost positive. Yeah, card number 10. Yeah, yeah, that's the Wheel of Fortune. This is the World. But the Wheel of Fortune, it really talks about the changing seasons, right? It talks about the changing seasons. And so you got the 10, and then on top of it, and you see it almost looks like a bullseye. The other thing is you see for every fourth of the squares, it's a different color on the edge. And on top of it, we got the 5 of Cups. Now, this is an interesting 5 of Cups. I've always said this, is that when you look at it, they have 3 cups stacked behind them and 2 tipped over. Usually in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith or the traditional tarot, it's 3 cups overturned and 2 remaining, meaning that you're crying over the 3 cups, but there's 2 cups that remain behind you. What I kind of see, and especially with that difference, the 3 of Cups is about like celebration. It's a little bit of a party card. It's also about congregating with people of your ilk. Um, what I am getting here, guys, is honestly by the end of the week, I do think that you're going to be in a little bit of gray colored glasses, but I think it's because, you know what I'm almost getting here, guys, is I'm getting almost like a little bit of melancholy over relationships. It's almost like you have 3 cups stacked behind you, which is like, that's like partying with your friends. That's like enjoying your muses. Like the 3 of Cups is like muses. Like, okay, if you like to scrapbook, if you like to rollerblade, if you like to, if you like to draw, or if you like to play video games, if you like creating videos for your YouTube channel, whatever you like to do. The 3 of Cups is really about being around other people who enjoy the same things that you do. Like if you like writing and you join your local writers group, and then you meet every Wednesday, and you're like, oh my God, I've found my tribe, right? The 3 of Cups is like your tribe. What I'm kind of seeing here, especially with the World, I get the sense that I feel like you are in kind of like a heavy mindset. It's not a bad mindset. I think you really are. You're contemplating your soul's purpose, which you're really in those, you are in the 5D this week, where you're really like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? What's my life's purpose? What's next, right? And the Wheel of Fortune is talking about things turning in your favor, right? But I do kind of get the sense that by the end of the week, I think all this heavy thinking, the other thing I get is all this being alone, because I'm getting this person's kind of sitting in the corner by themselves. You have 3 cups waiting for you. And I get the sense like the the universe is trying to hand you opportunities, and I think those opportunities are coming in the form of people who enjoy the same interests that you do. And that could be friends. Again, if you're a gamer, maybe it can be people that you know from online. Those are your friends. That's your tribe, right? But I do get the sense that I am getting a little bit of melancholy over the weekend. I get the sense that things are turning in your favor, but it's almost like all this isolation, all this thinking about your life purpose is making you feel kind of alone. The other thing I kind of get is I'm getting like a feeling like maybe romantic relationships haven't been really working for you lately, and you're focusing on that. You're like, okay, well, I've dated a million people, or I just broke up with someone 6 months ago and I haven't found anybody else. The universe is really kind of, the other thing I kind of get is that maybe you are in that kind of gray colored glasses where you're thinking the summer's almost over and I haven't gone out on any dates. I must be a loser. That's what I'm hearing, guys. And I get the strong sense that the universe is trying to show you that things are on the upturn. The other thing I kind of get is that I almost get the sense like a dating opportunity, or like what you've been searching for, because you kind of see the bullseye here, is waiting for you if you socialize. If you go out and pursue the interests that you want to do, because this is the King of freaking Wands, guys. He's creative. It can be a creative pursuit. The other thing I get is just kind of being your dynamic self. I know that sounds cheeseball, but it's true. Because luck is on your side. The wheel is turning in your favor. But what you're doing is you're sitting in the corner mourning about your past failures. You're not really participating in the leisure activities or the groups that you would do. Like, you're not playing. And instead, you're kind of looking at time ticking as getting away from you. I'm getting like a strong sense, and this is crazy, guys. By the weekend, it's almost like you're thinking like summer's almost over, or I haven't accomplished anything. Which I'm gonna come out and say, guys, that's such crap. Don't believe that. We still got 30 days. We still got 30. I mentioned in the intro, right? Like I'm this weekend I've got crammed like 4 activities. Like I'm hanging out with like 3 friends this week. It's almost like I'm trying to knock out my summer in one weekend. I don't advise doing that. Spread it out a little bit, but do it, right? I do. I get the sense like the solution. The other thing that I get is that maybe the universe is kind of telling you that if you do have to mourn something, or if this reflection is this reflection and this soul searching might be a little cathartic for you. It might kind of release it might help you exercise some of the heavy feelings that you've had. But please don't let it linger too long. Please know that the things are turning in your favor. And just like I mentioned, I had a good solid like 7 days where my Mercury and my Venus were conjunct my Saturn, and I was feeling really serious. Like how the Joker's like, why so serious? It was really cryptic like that. And that Saturn energy will do that to you. It's like it's all of your normal feelings like encased in concrete. It's very heavy. But please know that whatever you're feeling, this too shall pass. The other thing is, I do get the sense that when you're ready, you don't have to do it unless you feel like you're ready. When you're ready, turn around and maybe very lightly participate, Maybe you do, like, if you have like a virtual chat group, or, you go live on one of your social media platforms, just for like 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Or watch, just log in, be a creeper. Go ahead, be a stalker. Go ahead and watch, but make sure that it's happy. Just make sure you watch some of the live feeds of your friends or your groups. Go on YouTube and Google things. Like, I love card making videos. Sometimes when I'm feeling really down in the dumps. Oh, here you go. Okay, this is one other thing, and okay, feel free to judge me at will. I'm owning up to it. You know how when you're scrolling through social media, it's definitely more through Facebook, which I don't know. I honestly don't know how antiquated Facebook at this time. I don't know if that makes me a total nerd that I do everything on Facebook. It's like my primary platform. As I'm scrolling through Facebook, they have all those advertisements for those fashion games and those little games where it's like, here, do a fashion makeover on this person. Give them new clothes and cut their hair. The other thing is, do this renovation of this place. Put up wallpaper and redo the flooring, and you get graded on it. I went through and in the last week I played like 3 of those games. And let me promise you, they're out to make money. After about the first 2 hours, which I'm ashamed to say that I played through the first 2 hours of just about all of those games. I think it was like I did about 4 of them at this point. After about an hour and a half, you run out of lives, or you run out, and then they're like, hey, you can buy more lives for $9.99, or you can wait 24 hours, you can wait 30 minutes. They totally play on the fact that you have no patience, right? If you are really feeling that low, do something like that. Go ahead and download the game, and then when you're out of lives, uninstall the game. Don't keep it. Don't give anybody your $9.99. Don't give anyone your 99 cents. But go ahead and just distract yourself for a little while. But here I am kind of getting like, if you have the opportunity to do that in kind of a group setting, or watch other people doing something that you're interested in, that would be a lot more beneficial. And just know, these are 3 majors. You might be going through a time of a lot of change in your life, but over the weekend, the wheel is turning in your favor. Lady Luck is winking your way. Don't doubt that. Don't doubt that. And please don't stay in the corner. You might be looking at, past relationships as being like failed attempts, but there is prosperity waiting. And I do get the sense like it's with your tribe. It's with people that you like to hang out with. Ooh, and I'm so sorry, guys. I almost forgot your card. Let's get your mixed emotions card. Regretful. Oh, wow, guys. Maybe you are. Maybe those turned over cups, that could be a relationship. That's possible. Maybe you are, reminiscing about something that failed. The colors are striking me, guys. Look at this. You see how there's brown and orange and yellow? And look at that. That's such a synchronicity. Remorseful, sorry, repentant. But don't worry, guys. I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune is about karma, but when it comes in the upright, it means karma is like turning in your favor. You might be regretting something that happened in the past, but there was a purpose for it. So don't worry about that. And again, I am getting just a strong sense. Hang out with your tribe. Do things that you like to do, and the wheel will turn faster, or that's what's going to get the wheel turning, is you hanging out with the group or doing things that you like in a group setting. All right, guys, so deck number 2, we have the Everyday Tarot by Brigit Esselmont. So deck number 2, what's our energy for the beginning of the week, please? 1 card for the beginning of the week. Thank you. Strength. Middle of the week. Okay, this card's kind of sticking out. We're going to go, okay, please clarify. Okay. End of the week, please. Got 2 2s. And Temperance is trying to pop out, so I really get the sense, like, and 10 of Pentacles. We'll go ahead and we will not forget your mixed emotion cards here. Okay, this one's sticking out. Irritated. Oh my gosh, guys. All right. Wow. We got a lot of fire energy here. We got Strength, which is kind of like a Leo card. Ooh, and oh my goodness, guys. Okay. we'll get into this. It kind of doesn't surprise me. Citrine is kind of like a Yellowstone. Um, but all right, guys. So we'll jump right in. Um, what I'm getting is in the beginning of the week, strength really talks about like taming your inner desires. It is about like keeping yourself in check. But I'm getting a lot of Leo energy from this. And what I was kind of chuckling about, or what got me all stoked a second ago here, is that the cusp of Leo, like the actual day, like I think it is the actual day that goes from it's not yet. It's actually the end of August. August 23rd is when the sun in the sky is 0 degrees Leo, and it's almost like a bridge between Leo and Virgo, and that's what I always think of when I see strength, because Virgo's the Virgin and Leo's the Lion. But the actual sun sign, so the sun is not going to be on the cusp of from Leo to Virgo until August 23rd, but the new moon that's happening on Friday happened yesterday. That happened yesterday is like at 2 degrees Leo, and that's this kind of energy. It's on the cusp of Leo and no, I got it twisted, guys. I'm sorry. That's the cusp of Cancer and Leo. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So it's not the cusp of Leo and Virgo, but what I'm kind of getting here is I'm feeling that energy though. I'm feeling that energy. Over the weekend, I kind of get the sense like it's almost like you're being a lady. Again, we got temperance too. You're balancing. You're balancing. I get the sense like you're showing grace in the face of adversity for something. The other thing is like deep down inside, if you left your ego unchecked, you could really go off on someone. But you're more dignified than that, right? If someone did something catty or petty, you're not gonna flip your shit. You're gonna keep yourself in check. And that's what I kind of feel over the weekend. Now, one other feeling that I did kind of get, and this is kind of random, but I got to come out and say it. This might not be for everyone. This might be for a few people. I also see this lion as being kind of fluffy. Maybe you have either a cat, like an actual cat, or I'm thinking like a dog, but I'm thinking one of those real fluffy dogs, like maybe a Shar or what's that one that looks like a lion, that has a really fluffy, almost mane to it? Um, a Chow Chow. I don't know if you have like a Chow Chow, but I do, because this combination also talks about animals. So you might have an animal that's not feeling real well over the weekend, and I don't wish that on anyone, but I kind of see you holding an animal. The other thing that I kind of get is that if maybe you're going through something that's a little emotionally upsetting, and you know how animals can kind of pick up on your feelings, right? You know how when you're feeling sick, or if you're feeling heartbroken or something, you notice how the it's almost like the first person, quote unquote, to notice that you're feeling out of sorts is the dog. Like the dog will come up to you and just kind of look at you, and then crawl into your lap and put his head on your shoulder, like it's gonna be okay. Like your emotional, I'm getting emotional support animal. Is what I'm getting. Um, so, but I am also getting that something about like you showing a lot of grace under pressure. I am seeing a mountain in the background, which is kind of rare. I mean, when you look at the strength card, there are probably mountains in the background, but I just really get the sense that it's almost like you have to stay strong right now for some reason, and that could be image wise. Maybe you have to kind of like put on a good face. The other thing I get is that it's almost like you have to kind of you have to calm your ego, is what I'm kind of getting. Like you have a lot of reasons to kind of pop off at someone about something, but you refuse to. The other thing I kind of get here is that maybe you do have an animal. I'm hearing like has to take medicine. You know how you have to like hide pills in some cheese or wrap it up in some meat or something, or however you get your animal to take their meds. Um, I'm getting something like this because I'm just drawn to the way she's stroking, the way she's kind of holding the lion's mouth. I don't know that, you know what I'm also kind of getting is that have you ever had those moments in life, and God knows we've had them, I've so been there, where you almost feel kind of numb. It's almost like you're just floating through the day because you have so much to do, but all of the chores you have to do just seem a little, not even tedious, but it's almost like, okay, I have to get up early and go to work. I have to make sure that I move my car. I have to go out. Actually, I'm mentioning that because like this week, in where I live, they're repaving the parking lot, and they put up notices like you got to move your car by this. It's like this whole ordeal where, it's like, okay, I work all freaking day long. I barely get a chance to eat lunch, and now I have to make sure that I go out and move my car by this time. You know what I'm almost getting is, you've ever had those moments when you're going through the day, you got up at 6 a.m., you started laundry, you put out the recycling, you went to work, you got like 20 minutes to scarf your lunch, you brought the recycling back in, you went out and moved your car, and then it's almost like at the end of the freaking day, you're trying to give your cat or dog their pill. And you're a kind person. This woman is a kind person. You're not forcing anybody to do anything. But it's almost, you know what I'm getting from this? It's like you sitting on the kitchen floor as you're holding your cat after you've given them their meds, and you're just kind of like, okay, are you gonna cough this back up? Let me just sit here. And you just kind of feel that mundane feeling like, oh my God, is this my life? Is this my life, right? You're just kind of sitting in the car like, okay, I just moved it. When they're done paving, I'll move it back. I get that kind of feeling like, is this all there is what I'm feeling. I feel like over the weekend and into Monday, you're going to have a few moments where you're just sitting on the kitchen floor, sitting in the driver's seat of your car with it not turned on, just kind of with that look like, okay, is that all there is? And I am kind of getting that with like, because Virgo, the Virgin, really talks about daily, everyday tasks, right? It talks about, there's this great line in the movie, Alex and Emma, and it's a really old movie. It's from the 90s, but it talks about this writer who's writing a book, and he hires a stenographer to type out the book for him, and it's like it's almost like they're envisioning the story together, and she kind of chimes in and she puts her 10 cents in, like, and she's like, there's one point where she cuts in and he's like, what now, what criticism do you have about the storyline now? And she's like, what about the laundry? And he's like, what about the laundry? She goes, in all the big stories, you never talk about the little things, like who does the laundry, right? Like who does, that's what I'm kind of getting here. It's almost like you're kind of sitting and thinking, okay, gosh, this life is not glamorous. I'm sitting here, mopping my floors. I'm sitting here doing the laundry. It's not glamorous. That's what I'm kind of getting. It's not glamorous. The other thing that I'm kind of getting is there's kind of an acceptance of it, though. It's almost like you're having your Virgo sense is having a conversation with your Leo self. Like, okay, yes, this is not glamorous. You're not on the red carpet at a movie premiere. You're sitting in the laundry room, measuring out how much liquid detergent to put in with your delicates. That's what I'm kind of getting, guys. I'm sorry. This sounds crazy. I'm sorry. This sounds cray, but that's what I'm getting. But you know what? There's such a beautiful peace from that, though. I have a Venus in Virgo. Believe me, I have moments like this all the freaking time, where my Libra side, yeah, I like pretty jewelry. I like fancy clothes. But when I'm wearing my bum around cotton t-shirt that's beat to hell, been washed 100 times, and I'm comfortable, and I'm measuring out that laundry detergent, it's almost like you're calming down your ego to be like, yeah, this isn't glamorous, but this is life. This is who does laundry. I do the laundry, right? The other thing I do is that I do get a sense of kind of balance. When I saw temperance, it's almost like you're not expecting it to be like out of a movie, right? It's not Alex and Emma. It's not like you're expecting it to be that movie, romantic comedy level, love or, drama. The other thing I kind of get is you're almost kind of content with it. You're kind of content with it. And I am getting a sense of an animal. I think, you know how when you have a pet, when you look online, you see all the cute pictures of people's pets doing cute, funny stuff, but you never see the behind the scenes. It's almost like Instagram when you look at how many pictures, how many outtakes, right? No one ever sees that, oh, you're cute, your cute Chow Chow just, wouldn't, just turned his nose up at, like $10, meal, or they just chewed a hole in your brand new sofa. It's kind of like being content with those little realities in life, I have a cat. She's elderly, and oh my God, she is so whiny sometimes and very high maintenance. But gosh, if it's not adorable when she kind of has a whoopee. Those little cat toys that's like a ball with a raccoon on it. She chewed the raccoon off, and the raccoon is her whoopee. When she can drive you insane with the whining and the crying and but when she brings you the whoopee, you're like, okay, this is living. That's what I'm kind of getting at the beginning of the week. Okay, this is living. It's like 50% work, but then 50%, wow. This is the exchange that I get for all of that. I do get a lot of love in a very simple way. Now, in the middle of the week, you do have the Three of Swords, but then you also have the Two of Wands. Now, don't be afraid. The moment that you see the Three of Swords, you think, oh my God, it means, betrayal, it means heartbreak. What I'm getting here is I'm seeing Three of Swords here more as like the moon, okay? Oh, okay, we're going to do Ten of Swords. All right, let's get one more clarifier, just to put us in mind. One clarifier, one clear one, please, Spirit. People freak out about that. There you go, Temperance. Temperance has come out 3 times. Hangman. Yes. So what's going on here, guys, is I feel like you have a lot of decisions going on. And what I feel here, mostly with the Three of Swords, is I'm feeling like more the pain of separation from someone. And what I'm kind of getting here is, you see how in the Two of Wands, she's kind of leaning this way, which is kind of towards the past. But then Temperance is kind of balancing the cups this way, which is towards the future. I think that you might be thinking about someone, like there's someone that's really your choice, like something you really want to go towards, but for some reason you're prevented from going towards it, making that choice, going towards that place, and it makes you sad. It makes you feel, it does, it feels like a barrier, and it's a sharp pain. It's a sharp pain not being able to go towards something. I do kind of feel like this might be a person or a relationship. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. We've got 2 aces. I get the sense like you really want to start something. You want to start something with someone. But what it would entail is it would entail you making a choice. If you get a chance to watch the Three of Swords, I know no one likes to learn more about the Three of Swords because it just seems like a sad, painful card. But believe it or not, it has a lot of depth to it. And one thing we talked about in that How to Tarot video is that the Three of Swords talks about sustained pain. Like with the Three of Swords, if someone puts you in the third party a relationship or a position, how do you solve that? You pull out one of the swords, right? You remove the obstacle, you remove the third party. But the reason there's still three swords there is because no one's budging, right? No one's pulling out one of the swords. We're leaving the swords in place. We're leaving the three. You're leaving the obstacle in place. And third party doesn't have to be another person. It can be a situation. It can be a job. It can be someone choosing something over you, right? That causes you pain, right? Causes you pain. Maybe you just graduated high school and your boyfriend or girlfriend's like, "Hey, I want to go to this college on the East Coast, but you live on the West Coast." And you're like, that could be the three of swords. Okay, I'm going to move to the other side of the continent. And but okay, that's kind of a bad example because one of the like top 10 reasons why you should never choose a school because your boyfriend or girlfriend's going there. But it's kind of like that. It's kind of like saying in order to fix the situation, a choice has to be made and balance needs to occur. But what I'm seeing here is that one other way I can kind of read this too is that it's quite possible that there's a choice, there's pain that's being inflicted here, and I feel like you're in pain and two other people are in pain. And the way that you end that situation and the way you end that separation is that you have to make a choice. There's a choice that needs to be made. The other thing I kind of get is that you know which direction you want to go, because that's the thing about the Two of Wands. And Wands is about action, right? There's one wand that's bolted to the wall, and there's another wand that's right there, and the person is holding a globe. Like they're looking at this other wand, like it's what they want. It's what they want. But are they picking up the stick and walking? No. They're still standing there staring at it like, okay, should I do that? So I do kind of think the other thing I get with Temperance is I am kind of feeling like you might be staying in an uncomfortable situation in order to keep the peace. The other thing I kind of get is with the angel being here, you might feel like it's the right thing to do, even though there's something calling you to choose the other option. Yeah, guys, I'm totally getting like it's a matter. The other thing I get with wands is like it's what you're impassioned to do. Like wands are about vitality. It's like, you would feel like on top of the world. The wands is like, okay, well, I'm going to quit my job and then, buy a ticket on a train to go backpacking through Europe. It's like that impulsive thing that you want to do. But in the middle of the week, there's going to be some kind of energy of feeling like you're kind of you're I feel like you're in a sad situation, but the sad situation you can't really get escape from, right? You're kind of stuck for right now. You know the direction that you want to go, but it's almost like if you make that choice right now, if you go for what you want to do, it might disturb the peace. It's almost like it feels like timing, right? I don't think that you want to keep anybody in pain. You don't want to be in pain either, but it's almost like you don't want to do anything impulsive. You don't want to do anything wrong. And the other thing that I kind of get is that I'm getting a strong sense like the timing. It's almost like you have to give something a little bit more time. You have to give something a little bit more time to calm down. It's possible that maybe if you're separating from someone, or you're kind of, I'm really getting the sense like you know what action you want to take, but you can't pursue it, or you can't make that call until things calm down a little bit. It's almost like you have to let everything, you have to let the dust settle. But the other thing that I kind of get is that by waiting and letting the dust settle, it kind of keeps you and two other parties in kind of a sustained, a really uncomfortable situation, right? But I think you know what you want to do. You just almost got to make that call. You almost got to make that call. Now, by the end of the week, this is really interesting, guys. You got yet again more, and it's funny, the first pile had the King of Wands in the first position. Here, by the end of the week, by the end of the week, you are going to be gung ho, like you're going to have, you see how this person, you see how the Two of Wands looks like they're looking towards the other wand and they know what they want to do, and here you've got the King of Wands holding that rod, right? And he's got fire in his palm, right? And underneath it, we've got two twos here. Underneath it, you've got the Two of Pentacles. I think by the end of the week, you're going to be, I think by the end of the week, you're going to be making a decision. I think you are going to be going towards what you want to do. Like, you're going to be, like, enough of this Three of Swords crap. Either that or in the middle of the week, you might have broke, we got another Three of Pentacles. We got Pentacles and Wands here, guys. Yeah, I think by the end of the week, you might have some relationship stuff going down this week, guys, or just possibly with family. The Ten of Pentacles tried to come out earlier. You might have had some kind of stuff, some kind of stuff going down with family, and you might know exactly what you want to do, but it's almost like you have to be careful about how you take those swords out. The other thing is that if you did just drop the bomb on someone, like if you did just, if you did have to tell someone this week, and especially in the middle of the week, okay, I don't want to do what you want me to do. I want to do something else. It's almost like you have to wait for that kind of fallout to kind of blow over a little bit. One other way I kind of read this is that you might have to cooperate with a King of Wands. You might have to cooperate with someone who's really dynamic kind of personality. This person is very action oriented. Could be a father or a father figure, where you really have to communicate very clearly to them. The other thing I get is that you might have to balance finances with this person. Like you might owe this person money, but then you have to pay other bills too, and it's almost like a juggling act. But what I do get is that this person comes first, One other thing with the King of Wands is he's that very forthright kind of personality. If he calls you, you need to pick up the phone. It's kind of like that. Like, okay, if he needs something done, you do it. When you jump, I jump, Jack, is kind of what I'm getting. But the other thing I get is that if this is your energy, you might have been making some decisions in the middle of the week, and it might have caused somebody some pain. The other thing it might have been is it might have had to, in the middle of the week, it might actually expose some kind of third-party situation. But in the midst of it shows that it's like that break that not only exposes a third party, like a block, but it also shows, it kind of hints to what you want to do, and then by the end of the week you're actually going to take that action. Like the King of Wands, he decides when to take action, and here he is holding fire in his hand, like, okay, I want to do this. But what this will is, I am seeing that over the weekend, it's going to be you taking action towards your goals. I think you are starting to take steps in the direction that you want to go, and you're very passionate about it. You're excited about it, but it will take a lot of cooperation with others. I get also that you see how there's hands being held out here, and then two coins there. I think it's going to be kind of up and down financially for a while. The other thing I kind of get is, I'm getting that you have to be kind of quick on your feet. Like you have to be a little bit. One thing I've always noticed about like King of Wands characters is they're very quick. Like they're very quick. Like they take very swift, decisive action. So if it's like, if it's like, hey, can I meet you this weekend? Can you pay me back that $50 that I lent you? It's like, yeah, okay, here, just meet me here at this time. They're like boom, boom, boom. But the communication and it's like they're juggling finances. The other thing that I kind of get is it's quite possible that if this is communication or cooperation with somebody regarding financial matters, which can be family, maybe you're saying, okay, I want to go off on my own. I don't want to work with you anymore. I want my own dreams. But you still have to, like, you still have, money owed or something that you have to do for family. That might feel kind of like a juggling act. Um, I am really drawn because a lot of Three of Pentacles cards don't have that kind of imagery. You see how they have hands? Maybe you're working, I'm hearing, like King of Wands is really like, maybe you're like really you're working really hard, but it seems like every dime, every coin you get in goes right back out, or it's always up and down. You have to keep on your toes. The other thing I get is that you have to be real charismatic, because that's the other thing about the King of Wands. It's almost like he has to be real dynamic. He always seems in control. He always seems like he knows what he's doing, but underneath the surface, it could be a little bit of juggling, with finances or communication with finances. And I do kind of feel like, again, I'm seeing these two ships. I'm seeing a lot of like bartering, and communication about bartering. But it takes a lot of cooperation, and you're just going to be, I do get the sense like it's going to be a little exhausting for you, because your card, you did get irritated, annoyed, aggravated, bothered. And that is one characteristic of the king, is that even in the upright, he can get burnt out, right? His fire burns bright, but when he's having a good time, when he's being all boisterous and fun, too much of that, and especially all this up and down, The other thing I kind of get is that maybe you have some kind of business dealings or something like that, and you just constantly feel like, again, like you're juggling, 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down. You're communicating too much. I think it is irritating you. The other thing is, I'm really drawn to the insects, like gnatting. It's funny. There's a great channel here that talks about relationship dynamics, and the relationship coach talks about natting, like, and he has an acronym for it. It's going nuts at texting, like GANT, going nuts at texting. It could be that. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of swords, but Page of Swords. There we go. Oh my God. There's your confirmation, guys. Yeah, it could be a lot of texting that's about money, or about cooperation that involves money, and you're going to be a little irritated by the weekend. I think you're going to stay on top of it, and you will handle it in a mature way. This is the king, right? It's not the knight. I would be worried if it were, the knight or the page. But what I kind of get is that the other thing is that on the surface, you're keeping a real dynamic front, but underneath you might be kind of cursing a few people, like, okay, can they leave? Just leave me alone, But yeah, I think over the weekend there's going to be a lot of business communication, which is very unique for a weekend, but not unheard of. Maybe you've got some kind of business lunch, or you're hanging out with people, or you're hanging out with your friends in a more financial kind of way. I don't know. But all right, guys, so we'll go on and move on to the pile number 3, which is the Vice Versa Tarot. So let's just see here. Beginning of the week, please. What's our energy for the beginning of the week? Okay, middle of the week. get one. Oh, five, six. Oh, wow. All right. End of the week, please. Ooh, it makes a whole lot of sense, guys. Let's go ahead and get your emotions card. I'm just checking the time. Okay. Wow. Oh my God. We're going to go ahead and take both. I normally just limit it to one, but I think these two are meant to go together. All right, guys. So beginning of the week, you got the Knight of Swords. And I really do love this Knight of Swords card. You see him on like a flying horse, right? And it's interesting. I always pick a deck along with you. And last week, I kind of picked the middle deck number 2. And in the middle of the week, we got the Knight of Swords. And what I kind of loved about that reading last week is that the Knight of Swords really, he doesn't really rein himself in. Like, all the knights are a little bit like they roam, right? They're not kings and queens energy. They're not as immature as the page, but they're not as mature as the king or queen. They're really kind of raw when they deliver things. And what I thought was great is, like, last week it talked about it's funny, it really did resonate. I mentioned about like doing things that was a little avant-garde, like daring to post things or post opinions that you normally wouldn't. And it's amazing that really did come true. It's in the last couple days, there's been a few posts where I'm like, I really like this article, but it's a little bit weird if I post it, and I'm friends with all my family, and when you think about your friend group and you're like, oh my God, is everyone going to think I'm a total weirdo for posting this, or they're going to think I'm strange, or they're going to unfriend me? And I finally just said, look, if it's a subject I'm interested in, let's just post it. Who gives a F? It's not the end of the world if you get a little bit weird. And goodness knows, when you look at other people's pages, tell me, okay, show of hands, raise your hand if you've ever, followed your friends on any social media platform, and then you start seeing them posting they're usually posting the same content all the time. Like, they have a theme to their content, and then all of a sudden they deviate from that, and you're like, oh my God, so-and-so's having a funky week, right? Do I need to call them? Do we need to hang out? Are they okay? It's kind of that feeling. And that's what I kind of get with the Knight of Swords. Seven of Pentacles. Oh, guys. 2 7s. I kind of get the sense, what I'm hearing as I look at this card, what is it? Is it AC/DC? We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. That's what I'm kind of hearing. And with the 7 of Pentacles, what I'm kind of getting is, what I'm really kind of getting from this is that I feel like over the weekend and the beginning of the week, you feel like you've invested a lot in something. Like, you've either put a lot of energy into something, or you've invested a lot into some kind of project, and you just feel like it's not really growing fast enough. But I am almost getting a little bit, this could be family or work, but I kind of get the feeling like we're not going to take it anymore. Like, you're getting vocal about something. You're getting vocal about something, where you're kind of, I get over the weekend and in the beginning of the week, it almost feels like you're kind of fed up with something, and it's not in a bad way. I'm kind of seeing it like you're leading the charge for something. Like this could be something simple, like maybe you're a homeowner and you've been paying into the homeowners association, and you've been asking them to clean your gutters for like 6 weeks, and you've been paying and paying and paying and paying, and then all of a sudden, you've requested 3 times, okay, come out and clean my gutters, and you finally get the next letter that's like, well, we can't get to it this week. It's like that. It's like, I have waited and worked and invested and done this. I'm not taking this anymore. You need to come out and you need to do this. You need to do this. And that's what I'm kind of getting with this. And again, this can be in any context. This can be with your family. This could be like a family dynamic. If you're a mom and you've been like, okay, like, perfect example. I remember when my older niece was studying to take her driver's test. There was, we were, gently encouraging and being like, okay, you need to take your test. You need to schedule a time. Oh yeah, I'll do it. Oh yeah, I'll do it. And it's not anyone's fault. Life gets busy when you're working. She was working, doing her thing. But it finally came down to it where it's like, honey, if you do not schedule a time, I'm not taking this anymore. You need to go and do this. You need to get it done. I feel like there's some kind of breaking point that you're kind of hitting. And this could be a mom mood, The Knight of Swords is really kind of just, it is a little bit about popping off. But it is that you see how all the knights are on horses, and I always kind of think I always think of the phrase on your high horse. And when you see the Knight of Swords, you're getting on your high horse verbally and mentally, and usually that's kind of like the last straw. Or a lot of times it can, the Knight of Swords can also be that you think and you probably do, but you're rushing into a situation and being like, you need to do this. Why isn't this done? Da 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 da. Like, you're ready for battle. You're ready for verbal battle, and you have your evidence built up. Like, you have your evidence. And when I pulled the card, it was the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing the two of Wands in reverse, and the Fool. I get the sense like you might be waiting for someone to do something, and you've waited and you invested and you've again, I swear to you guys, I'm hearing that song, We're Not Gonna Take It. And it's that dude with the crazy makeup. That is such an 80s song. Holy Toledo. Okay, I follow several groups on social media, and we post this stuff all the time, like vintage stuff. I'll have to post that video now. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad energy. I think it's like, I'm getting like a breakthrough energy. The other thing about the Seven of Pentacles is it's almost like saying, look, I've invested enough of this, I'm getting kind of like a shit or get off the pot kind of energy. But I don't get the feeling like it's your energy. I feel like you're yelling at someone like, what are you doing? I'm feeling a little bit of ultimatum energy, or I feel like I am feeling a little bit more like you've worked and you've invested and you haven't gotten in any return, and you're hopping mad and you're not taking it anymore. I keep hearing, I'm not taking it anymore. So again, apply that situation as it resonates. It could be a family dynamic. It could be someone that you were trying to help or you were trying to invest in and they just never reciprocated, and so now you're kind of charging in. It could be a work situation where maybe you've been working really hard at a position and you're just not seeing any advancement, and so you kind of charge in a little half-cocked. Relationship wise, I mean, granted, this could, if it's husband and wife, maybe you've asked somebody to do something like 6 times, and you finally kind of like flip your shit, but I get the sense that you feel like your cause is valid, like I'm hearing, I'm not going to take it anymore. Now, the middle of the week, this is interesting energy, guys. I'm taking all 3 of these in reverse because that's how they flipped, but we've got the Five of Wands, which is a conflict card in reverse. We got the Tower in reverse, and here we have the two Sphinxes. And then we have the Queen of Cups in reverse. Now, I will just throw it out there, guys. If you are a man watching this reading, a majority of my watchers are women, but gender is subjective. You assign the energies, it's just energies. So if you identify as feminine, if you identify as masculine, assign it as it resonates. But if you do resonate as masculine, one way I can kind of see this is maybe you've really been kind of like paying money or investing or putting time or energy into someone, and you finally just kind of, you get angry because you feel like you're investing, and you're not getting a good return. And not to make it sound that way, I know that sounds so bad, but honestly, relationships are like that. It's like you don't, the purpose of dating is to see if there's a connection, and you're not gonna just continue to go out on dates indefinitely if you're not really showing any signs of progress. But what I'm kind of seeing here is you might get a little bit verbally kind of quick with someone, and then if you're a man watching this in the middle of the week, I get the sense that someone's going to be really kind of, like emotionally turning their back to you. I think someone's really going to be like, I'm getting like emotionally hurt, but like in a really extreme way, because the Queen of Cups in reverse, she's no joke. In the upright, she's very nurturing, but in the reverse, she can be a drama queen. Like, she can be like a tsunami kind of emotion. And what I'm kind of getting here is I see the Five of Wands in reverse, which really talks about, what I'm getting here is you see a volcano going off. And it's funny, your card really has a lot of the same energy. Your oracle card in it, but can you hear me okay? We'll get to that in a minute, but your oracle card really has a lot of that energy as well. But what I'm seeing here is, the other thing that I see here is, you see how the mask is cracked in half, and on the back, what it is the front of the tower looks like the tower is just breaking down, but when you look at the back, it's already crumbled. I get the sense, like, guys, male or female, this might be a relationship that was really crumbling for a while, and someone really just kind of, someone over the weekend or in the beginning of the week really kind of just, it was kind of like the final straw. But I do get the sense, like, I'm not taking this anymore. Like, like you snapping at someone, or I'm getting like last straw. Like, I'm not, I've invested, I've tried to do the right thing. You're driving me insane. And then by the middle of the week, it's almost like that tower had been crumbling anyway. And the mask, what I'm really getting with the mask is, like, the whomever you're dealing with, I think this person came across, like, I think at first that person really came across as loving and caring and nurturing, but I think it was a little bit of a facade, and I think you're letting that facade crumble. You see how these two people are kind of squaring off? The other thing I kind of get is that you see how this person's kind of wearing red, and you see how that's kind of like the knight's colors, and the other person's wearing green, and that kind of looks like the queen in reverse. I think you might be kind of you might have like a showdown going on with someone. Some kind of dynamic with somebody is crumbling. The other thing I get is that, like, all the masks are cracked in half. Like, you're having tower moments with this person. You're having explosions, like volcanic moments, fights. You're having a lot of fights. The other thing is that I always have to remember this, is that this is the Five of Wands. And what it is you see how each person has one wand in each hand, but then there's a broken wand. You know what I always think of when I see this card is, how there's that old adage that talks about drawing a line in the sand. Well, I've drawn the line in the sand, and the first person to step over that line, and you see no one's stepping over the line, but everyone's towing the line. Wow, guys. Oh, pile number 3. I'm sorry, guys. You're having a lot of fights with someone. The other thing that I kind of get is, because this is a knight and this is a queen, um, I get the sense that you feel like you know your truth, but it's almost like when you go to open your mouth, it's like the words just don't quite come out the way you want them to come out. Like you're not as articulate as you want to be, but you're really passionate though. You're really like, it's almost like the words are coming out so fast and so furious and so just like direct from your mind. It might even sound kind of funny the way that you're yelling at someone. Um, it's funny when I remember one time I have a friend who had a knockdown drag out fight with their spouse, with their husband, about a sock being on the floor. And you know darn well it was not about the sock being on the floor. It had much more deeper psychological meaning than just the sock being on the floor, right? You know, that was not the reason that you had a knockdown drag out fight. And that's what I kind of get here, is that I get the feeling like you're going up against someone who knows how to fight. Kind of like, this person is very skilled. Um, if you are worried about this energy, I highly encourage that you check out the How to Tarot and the Queen of Cups, the second half of the video. And I think I try to put timestamps for the Queen of Cups in reversed, but try to scroll to the end of the video where it talks about the Queen of Cups in reverse. She is very emotionally manipulative. She knows how to push your buttons and keep you on marionette strings. She knows how to manipulate emotionally. And what might be happening is you might be coming at her with the sword of truth, but you're still a knight and she's a queen. But one thing I do see is that, at least in that fight, when you fight with them, it is equal. But I am getting the fact that it's like tower moments. The other thing I get is that with this mask cracked in half, I think it really is revealing that when you first met this person, you thought they were the queen in the upright. Like, you thought they were just this sweet, angelic, emotional, nurturing. And what you're getting is this. You're getting like the cold, emotionally manipulative. The other thing I get is that the Queen of Wands she's the Queen of Cups in reverse can be a little, she can be emotional. She can be an emotional vampire when she's in her negative energy. And I hate to say that, but it's very true. She can be extremely draining. You can come at her full force and you'll walk away you'll crawl away because she'll zap you, right? But what I get is that I don't think this is new. I think you know exactly who we're talking about. I really don't think this queen is your energy. I don't think this queen is your energy. I think you're coming in as the night energy. I think you're the person in the red. Oh, and goodness, guys, look at this. The other thing is that the end of the week, look at this uniform here, guys. You got a red cloak. You got red and white. Definitely, you are the knight. You're the knight. But the nice thing about, the only thing about the tower being in reverse is sometimes the tower in reverse can be you resisting. Like the tower is about letting the tower fall, right? A tower is a relationship or a situation that was built on a faulty foundation. It was not sustainable. It was unstable. And the way that you fix it is you let that foundation crumble. But what I'm kind of getting is that I do get the sense like you're having tower moments, and I think these are I think this is petty shit that you're fighting about. I'm so sorry to say it this way, but I feel like it's the sock on the freaking floor. Like, someone just she's in a foul mood one night, and then all of a sudden it becomes this volcano that's erupting, lightning from the sky. But one thing I see is that every single time that these kind of fights crop up, every single time you have these tower moments, it cracks her facade. It almost takes her down another peg in your mind. Like, okay, when I first met you, I thought you were this sweet, nurturing thing, and you are just turning out to be a psychopath, is what I'm kind of getting. And you're kind of, you're it's taking a long time for the other thing I kind of get is that it's taking a long time for that tower to crumble. I do think that this person's kind of holding on. I think that's the other thing, is that this person's kind of keeping you in this state. Like she's got her back to you. I am getting like mood swings, guys. Like she's being cold, like she's not talking to you. And I think you had a fight and you were trying to square off, and it's like that line in the sand, like you gotta cross the line. But the other thing I kind of get with this is maybe you're circling one another. You're sparking off with someone. And granted, it doesn't have to be romantic. I mean, this could be a friend group. It could be a girlfriend that you're on the rocks with. It could be a sibling. I mean, I feel really bad because this middle of the week is stressful. But let me promise you this. I mentioned in last week's video, we talked about in the video that talked about spell work, we talked about how when people learn from each other. We're all in a classroom, right? So if you're fighting with someone, best believe they're learning lessons and you're learning lessons, and the universe isn't going to leave you on the battlefield, right? It's almost like the moment that you really start feeling exhausted, the universe is going to tag you out, right? And actually, I kind of see that coming. But I do see that you're having like volcano moments. The other thing I kind of get, it's almost like you don't know when that lightning is going to strike. I do think that it's over petty stuff, because the Five of Wands is definitely petty shit. It's like you never know when that lightning's going to strike. But I also get the sense that it's kind of contingent on this person's mood. Like, like one minute they might be fine, and then the next minute they're stirring up, they're picking a fight. I do think that this relationship or this dynamic is slowly deteriorating. The other thing I get is that every single time that you fight with this person, or every single time this person stirs up drama with you, you think less of them. And it's almost like they're chipping away at that perfect, persona that you first knew about them. But I am sorry, guys. I am very sorry. I don't think this is your energy. I could read it from the perspective of this being you, but I don't think that's you. I don't think the Queen in reverse is your energy. I think you're dealing with this person. And again, the facade is really fading. The facade is fading, and it's sparking off with all these little conflicts that you're having with this person. But one thing I will say is that, and this is not a bad thing, is that I don't want you going into the week thinking that it's going to be craptastic by Wednesday. I don't like those reads. One thing I will say is that you'll know exactly who I'm talking about, and this might be nothing new. The other way I can kind of read this is that if you know that you've been kind of sparking off with someone, or say for instance you've been fighting with your cousin, but you have to go over to her house on Wednesday, you're going to kind of see it coming. You're going to be prepared, right? Again, this person has armor on. He's armored in you have a helmet on in every single one of these pictures. So I don't think that you're being caught off guard. I think you know exactly what you're going into, and you're prepared. You're prepared to fight. But just know that you're coming to the table. You're racing in with some like raw truth. I don't think that everything that comes out of your mouth is going to be the most polished. The other thing that I get is that even if you're charging at this person with truth, this person's going to manipulate a little bit. And one thing that she can do is she can play victim. because the other thing is, if you're coming at her and being like, you did this and you did this and da 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 da, and then what she'll do is she'll turn her back and play victim, and that's kind of emotional manipulation. But I think you know her game. You know her game. And I don't think that this would be a work situation. Nope, I'm seeing cups, 4 of Wands. No, I'm definitely seeing this is home or relationship. But I do think that you'll kind of see it coming, or if you don't see it coming, you do still, you know how this person is, and you know how to handle this person when things start to spark off. Now, the end of the week is not bad energy, guys. It's not bad energy. You got the 3 of Pentacles in reverse, and underneath it, you've got the 7 of Swords in the upright. I'm sorry, not 7 of Swords. The 7 of, where did that come from? 7 of Swords. This person might be kind of sneaky. You know, the person you're dealing with might be kind of sneaky, because I kind of said that in a Freudian way. But you got the 7 of Wands. And I love this card because most of the time the 7 of Wands, you see people holding that wands. Here you see him standing like he's, I'm king of the rock. I'm king of the mountain. You know what I think of every single time I'm sorry, I'm giggling. It's not funny, but if you've ever seen the movie Mulan, before they've discovered that Mulan is a girl, you see one of the guys, they're bathing in the water, and no one knows she's a girl, and they're all they're all naked, and the one guy crawls up on the rock, and he's like, I'm king of the rock, and there's nothing you girls can say about it. That's what I'm kind of, and I'm sorry, I laugh at that just because it's like good comic relief. But you are king of the rock. You've got the high ground. You got the high ground. And the thing is, the 7 of Wands is about it is an underdog card. You have a lot coming at you, but you're defending. I do see this as my David and Goliath card. And on top of it, we have the 3 of Pentacles reversed. Now, what I'm really getting here, guys, is I do think that you're going to be a little battle worn by the end of the week. This isn't the 9 of Wands, it's the 7. You're holding down your fort. Like, you're fighting the good fight by the end of the week. I do think that you might be in the midst of a little bit of warfare. Like, you might have, again, I think this person might be kind of, you know how every single time there's a throwdown with someone, it seems like people start to take sides, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame. I believe me, I've done it. We've all been there. Even when it's like the most innocent of fights. Like I've gotten into tiffs, and it becomes about ego. And I know what you mean. I try to keep my ego out of it. But sometimes it can't be helped if you think that you're doing the right thing and someone is, again, especially if it's Queen in the reverse, this person might be trying to gang up on you. Like, they might be trying to pit people against you. They might be trying to make you out like you're the bad guy. Again, it's David against Goliath. So you might have a group of people that might be siding with this person, but you're ready to fight the fight. You're ready. You know what you believe in. And again, this armor and the red and white. Now, the 3 of Pentacles talks about cooperation, but this 3 of Pentacles is in reverse. It's in reverse. So that really talks about like a lack of cooperation. It talks a lack of communication. And you see how there's one person standing there. Right? Now, this is a weird energy, guys, but I gotta come out and say it. Maybe you run some kind of business, and something about this falling out, like this person is like telling people, don't shop at their store, don't give them any business, because you see how this person's just kind of standing there by himself. It's like he's waiting to give the box to someone that's not coming, right? So it could be that this person might be, again, this person might be kind of bad-mouthing you or trying to isolate you. One other thing I kind of get with this is that I do just kind of get that this energy here is just kind of like, and I love how there's like a single rose here that's so pretty. But the Three of Pentacles just, it really just talks about like a lack of cooperation. When I see the Three of Pentacles in reverse, if you share kids with somebody or share custody with someone, I always just kind of see it as being that real tooth and nail, like, just texting the person or trying to get the person to pick the kids up on time, or just trying to co-parent in the right way. The other person makes it difficult because they're being a shit. It's not. That's what I'm kind of getting here. Like, maybe you met this person, you said, okay, I'm here. The other thing I kind of get is that maybe you're giving someone their stuff back and you're like, hey, I'll meet you in this public place at 10 a.m. Here's your box of crap, and then they leave you hanging, or something like that. Again, you're getting, you're, they're going to make it hard on you. They're going to make it hard on you. But in both of these pictures, I see a lot of integrity. I see a lot of integrity. You're ready to fight the good fight, and you're not afraid. One other thing that I kind of get from this card is, especially because this is towards the weekend, I think that, how sometimes right after a fight, because this seems kind of fresh off the Tower energy and the Five of Wands energy, how sometimes right after a fallout, there's that, I always call it is kind of the calm after the storm, but it's an eerie calm where you're really not talking to this person, and your head, how you've just been running over everything that went down in your head over and over and over and over and over and over, and you're like, I'm not backing down, I'm not going to do this. It's almost like these are your thoughts, right? But I get the sense that because this 3 is over the weekend, and you see how this looks like stained glass, it almost looks like the windows of a church. Maybe you are attending mass, or you attend some kind of religious, again, church over the weekend. And I'm getting almost like, you're praying for strength. Or, something about going to church gives you some kind of peace. One other thing, and just to throw it out here, maybe you have some kind of community at church, and you're concerned about this stuff, like this person going to your church group and, saying bad things about you. But I am getting a little bit more of a peaceful energy. I am almost getting the sense, like, I think you want a reprieve. I think you're fighting the good fight, and believe me, I know how you feel when you fight with someone, and especially when you feel like the other person is kind of fighting kind of dirty, or you might feel like the odds are against you. It's almost like you just want a little peace. It's like you'll go into the church just to try to get your worries off your mind, just to kind of get away for a little bit. The other thing I get is there's something about the quiet. There is something about like a lack of cooperation. I do get the sense, like, I am getting some kind of feeling like you're standing alone. And the reason you're standing alone is because someone's, kind of talking about you, or making you out to be a certain way. But I do get a peaceful energy from this. The other thing I get is that you're sticking to your guns, whatever you decide to do. The other thing that I get is that you're kind of standing firm, like, okay, go ahead and make it difficult. Go ahead and pitch your fit. Go ahead and bitch and moan. You see the expression on this guy's face, like it's almost like you're just digging the hole deeper for you. Like, you're, with every single one of these petty actions, you're making me respect you less, is kind of like what you're getting. But yeah, I do think the cooperation is not going to be more. You're going to have to. It's going to be a little bit. The other thing I kind of get is you're going to have to kind of defend your turf a little bit. Like, you might have to. There might be some rumors that are circulating about you, or you might. I am getting like a lack of business, and I know that sounds weird. That sounds so weird that like somehow someone like talking bad about you would somehow like affect you financially. I mean, that's possible. It's possible, definitely, like the other thing I kind of get is, if this is like a friends thing, how if one of your friends works at a certain store at the mall, and you have a fight with that friend, and then all of a sudden you go around and you're like, well, you can't go in there anymore because she works this shift and I don't, we're just, or something like that, but I am getting kind of like I'm getting like a church sense there. I know this sounds really bad, and I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm not trying to like throw out like religious jokes, but have you ever have you ever seen the meme that says, God, Jesus, take the wheel, otherwise I'm going to turn around and settle this with, by taking off my flip-flop, meaning that you're going to smack someone upside the head. you know I'm almost kind of getting that, like, let me go to church and pray on this. But I do get the sense, like, yeah, and I'm so sorry, guys. I do get the sense it just seems like every attempt to cooperation is going to be a fight. It's like every step's a fight. Now, the two cards that you got is you got angry, mad, furious, enraged, and you got disappointed, disillusioned, defeated, let down. Now, to be honest, guys, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of red in the disappointed, and I'm seeing a lot of red with like your energy. So it's possible that this might be your energy for both. Maybe you're angry. I do sense, that the Knight of Swords is not easy. Someone pissed him off, or when he's riding in on his horse. I do see that this character looks a little disappointed, but I this might be a little bit of both of your energies. I mean, I definitely see two parties that got angry at one another, and then maybe afterwards, again, you're just really disappointed in one another. You're disappointed in one another. The other thing that I get is, especially with that mask cracking, and maybe you had real high hopes for this person, and they're really disappointing you. Like they're making your life difficult, and causing tower moments. Or now, one other thing is that it's quite possible that maybe you had to rush in and tell some kind of truth to someone, and that person got wickedly angry, and that person is really disappointed. Like maybe this person is upset with you, is really upset with you. But what you're doing is you're standing your ground. Whatever whatever cause or whatever you were verbally adamant about, you're standing strong for that. You're not giving up on what you said. You're not giving up on what you said. You're not gonna back down. You're not gonna change your mind. And but the one thing I do kind of get is I think, how sometimes I feel like anger and disappointment are really, I just feel like they're kind of they're in the same area, the same like zone of emotional. There's in the same emotional kind of realm with one another. Sometimes when someone really disappoints you, that can be so stinging, that can be so hurtful. It makes you angry. Makes you angry. But I don't want you to be upset by this week, guys. First off, I do think that whatever it is that you're fighting for, you believe in, and this is really strong energy. This is brave energy. And the other thing is, I think you know exactly what this is about. I don't think this is the first time that you've had a tower moment with this person. Again, the energy seemed kind of equal. But I also feel like you're not going to let anybody, you're not going to roll over and just let anybody, pull that crap with you, right? And they do say if you read psychological articles, you know, so many people, you know, you see a lot of times we feel like anger is a bad emotion, quote unquote bad emotion. Anger is not a bad emotion. Anger is what alerts us to injustice. Anger is what alerts us to it's what triggers us to stand up for ourselves. And so that's an important barometer, right? That's an important flag. If someone's doing some being crappy to us, you don't need to take that, you know. But I do almost sense like this anger, you know, it's you're gonna feel angry and disappointed, but it's almost like your anger is fueling you to stand up for yourself. And this will pass. This will pass. Can I get just one more card? No. Here we go. You got the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. So yeah, you will. You know what this kind of tells me? And look, there's a rose on the back of his cloak too. You know what that kind of tells me is it kind of tells me that you're gonna build self-worth from this experience, right? And that's a good thing. You're gonna build self-worth, and it'll be slow coming. And you see how there's a cornucopia there that's kind of empty. You're gonna fill that. You know, things will get better. Things will get better. I know. Believe me, you know, I kind of had a tiff with someone very close to me recently, and it was bad. You know, it was probably one of the worst exchanges we've had in a long time, and I ruminated on it for a long time, and um, you know, it's not an easy thing to get over, but I don't want you to go into the week thinking that it's bad or anything like that. The other thing that I get is one other just piece of advice for pile 3 is, you know, please don't, if you know how they always say, you know, don't go to bed angry, but sometimes that's not always possible, you know, especially if the other person is being really, you know, stinky to you. Worst case scenario, if someone is being kind of like toxic, emotionally toxic, try to get away from that. Try to sleep in another room, or, you know, try to remove yourself from the vicinity of that energy, and maybe do some cleansing or some nice self-care activities, because you know, it's great to you know, stand up for yourself, but you know, don't let yourself have, you know, don't force yourself to marinate in that person's sphere, because even being close to them physically might start to rub off. And you know, definitely, you know, get away by yourself, you know, to recharge. All right, guys, but I thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry, I always say it's never going to be a long read, but I thank you for checking out my channel. We are really growing. Oh my gosh, guys, we got 255 subscribers. And I do promise you, I'm sorry, life has been kind of busy. We will do a special reading. We'll do a special reading. I do need to do the deck reviews for my flower and botanical cards, and that is coming soon. But I wish everyone a good week. Please, you know, stay cool, stay happy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.